Hello everybody and welcome back. My name is Instructor Glenn and this is another lecture for Introduction to Sociology online. Today I will be talking about the concept of McDonaldization. This is a concept that was first coined by the sociologist George Ritzer. This is a concept that can be used to discuss a broad array of sociological phenomena, specifically as they occur in institutions across the country, but also across the world. And so, even though Ritzer's theory was originally developed to discuss McDonald's, the fast food chain, as well as similar fast food chains like Burger King, Wendy's, and other Tim Hortons is what we have here in Buffalo. Other fast food chains in that model, we can really conceive of a lot of different types of institutions in our society fitting into this McDonaldized model. And so for our lecture for today, I will be speaking to you at length about the concept of McDonaldization, specifically in terms of me wanting you to start to think about how it can relate to things other than McDonald's, the restaurant, other than fast food. So this is a paradigm that has actually built off of Max Weber, the classical sociological theorist's concept of rationalization that has been used to explain a lot of institutional problems and bureaucratic limitations in our society today. So as always, settle in, get comfortable, grab a drink or a cup of coffee or a snack, and I'll get started with your lecture in a moment. Okay. So, first of all, I want to speak with you about what exactly McDonaldization is. And so, McDonaldization, according to Ritzer, and this is a direct quote, refers to, quote, the process by which the principles of the fast food restaurant are coming to dominate more and more sectors of American society as well as the rest of the world. And so McDonaldization is a process, a mechanism through which individuals in corporations and in institutions are made to function. It's also a means through which we can organize social life within these institutions. And it is emphasizing specifically these concepts of rationality, standardizability, and calculability, among others, that we're going to really delve into here in a minute, that really focus on streamlining and creating a template for capitalism, really, is what we're talking about here, that can be used in a number of very different and diverse capitalistic endeavors. And so let's delve further into what Ritzer says the specific elements of McDonaldization are. And so the first one for Ritzer, he has 5 dimensions of McDonaldization. The first one is this concept of efficiency. And so efficiency refers to the optimum method from getting from one point to another. The fast food model offers people an efficient method for satisfying many needs. For consumers, McDonald's offers the best way to get from being hungry to being full. The quickest way, the lowest cost way, and often a very tasty way, relatively little bang for your buck. Other industries offer the best way to lose weight, complete taxes, and do a number of other types of things and offer services for people in society. Workers in McDonaldization function efficiently because they're trained to do so by their managers through using a set number of standardized rules and tools for doing so. The second dimension of McDonaldization is calculability. So calculability refers to an emphasis on the quantitative aspects of the product that is being produced or sold or distributed. The portion, the size, the cost, and also the service being offered, such as the time it takes for the product to be distributed from the producer to the consumer. How long will it take you to drive to McDonald's, to wait in line at the drive-thru, to be served the food, to eat it, and to return home? And how does that compare to how long it would take you to prepare this food at home from whole food ingredients, including going to the store, and then eat it and then clean up afterwards? Calculability refers to how quickly tasks can be accomplished. Workers expect to do a lot of work very quickly for little pay. The third concept of McDonaldization that I want you to focus on, and so I just realized that I said there were 5, but there's only 4 that I want you to focus on, is predictability. Predictability in McDonaldization is the assurance that products and services will be the same over time and in all locales. So the Egg McMuffin in New York that you get at the McDonald's drive-thru will be, for all intents and purposes, the same as the Egg McMuffin that you get in Chicago or Los Angeles or Austin, or maybe even in other countries around the world. It will taste the same, it will look the same, it will cost more or less the same, and for that reason, it is a very predictable experience to go through a fast food drive-thru and order the same item that you would any other time. Those eaten next week or next year will taste the same as those eaten today. And Ritzer claims that that has led people to prefer a world in which there are no surprises. Workers behave in predictable ways, saying, "Hi, how are you? What can I help you with today? What would you like today? Have a nice day." They follow corporate rules and the dictates of their managers that constrain their abilities to act. What they do and what they say is highly predictable because it is dictated to them through the rules and formal constraints of the organization, including having scripts that they must memorize. So that's predictability. The last and fourth and final element of McDonaldization that I would like you to focus on for this class is the concept of control. So Control, especially through the substitution of non-human, such as assembly line or soft drink dispenser technology, for human technology, is a big part of this McDonaldization process, and a lot of control has been enacted over fast food and other similar industries in the past few decades as a result of the automation of these jobs and many of these jobs being replaced by machines. But there's also a lot of control structurally that goes into the organization of these spaces so that they may then control the actions of customers to maximize efficiency. Non-human technology controls people. Human technology is controlled by people. Lines, limited menus, few options, uncomfortable seats. All of these factors are purposefully designed to lead diners to do what management wishes them to do, which is to eat quickly and then leave to allow for subsequent consumers to then come in and take their place. The drive-through window leads diners to leave even before they eat. However, Ritzer also suggests that this is a highly inefficient process. In attempting to make this process more efficient, we actually make it less so. In attempting to streamline and make it quicker, we actually make it harder to navigate and we make it take longer. And so a great example of this is when you go to the drive-thru at 7:30 in the morning on your way to work to get your morning coffee at Tim Hortons, for example, and there is a line of cars at the drive-thru, 20 cars long. Drive-thrus are meant to be quick and get you through quick so you can get along with your day. However, what we find is that when people all go to the drive-thru at once and line up like that, it takes a very long time to get through the drive-thru and almost nullifies the effect of going through the drive-thru. Efficiency, predictability, calculability, and control are all aspects of a rational system. These are all aspects of what the classical sociological theorist Max Weber referred to as bureaucracy. However, human beings are largely not rational actors. There are some theories that would claim that this is the case. However, time and time again we see that humans behave in irrational ways. Attempting to constrain and control their behavior within irrational systems or within rational systems can lead to high levels of inefficiency and lack of control. Rational systems inevitably spawn irrational consequences for Ritzer, but also Weber, by denying human reason. If you've ever gone to the DMV or the Department of Motor Vehicles in the United States to try to fill out a simple piece of paperwork, you may have found yourself waiting in line for several hours just to speak with a person, behind a number of other individuals who are also waiting for several hours. This is a situation that becomes very frustrating to the extent where it is widely known among Americans now that the DMV is a very unpleasant place to go and spend your time. And a large part of this is that in attempting to create a rational system for dealing with the paperwork associated with driving cars, it's created a very irrational system for the people who have to function within it, which can be highly inefficient. Additionally, for Ritzer, but also more so for Weber, these rational systems that have been created for humans, which are largely irrational actors, leads to what Weber calls the iron cage of rationality. Have you ever felt like you were caught in a system of red tape? Or have you ever heard anyone say that they were trapped in the rat race? Sometimes you may feel this way if you are trying to navigate your financial aid paperwork. You may fill out all the paperwork correctly, even though there are several pages of it, mail it in by the due date, and still not get your financial aid on time. You may try to call the office and get no one, or get an automated message that says, in order to actually speak with someone, you'll have to come in person. So you go to the office, you show up in person, and then you wait for the better part of an hour in a line to speak with someone, who then tells you that you're missing a single form. You feel frustration and you say, why wasn't I told about this ahead of time? Well, the answer may likely be that you are caught up in a system of bureaucracy that is irrational. But it also is irrational to the extent that it constrains your abilities in such a way that you cannot even move forward or back. The classical sociological theorist Max Weber called this the iron cage of rationality. Now, the fascinating part is that Max Weber was writing this work from the mid-1800s. Based on his observations of social life and capitalism at the time. For that reason, Max Weber has been given the nickname the Prophet of Doom, because he has so accurately predicted a lot of the very frustrating elements of rationality in our system today. So, the next time that you find yourself waiting in a long line, having to fill out multiple forms and still not getting what you want, having to make calls to an insurance company or your high-speed internet company and not getting anything done and wasting a lot of time, remember Max Weber and also George Ritzer, who called this the iron cage of rationality, respectively, but also the McDonaldization process. This concludes our lecture. Thank you. Please join me next time for our lecture on social stratification.